talk about. It's been a while since I did like a vlog. I want to talk about the difference between United States and other countries, and I'm gonna name one country, but there's a few countries that follow. But Finland, right? Now I was told, I haven't confirmed, I haven't been there, so there's no way I know for sure. But I mean, if you quick Google or something, you know, you'll see the results. But in Finland, from what I understand, they're very, very strict on crime. And from what I understand, there's virtually no crime. Now, why do I say that? Because in the United States, like, honestly, like, I get it. Like, you know, we have the Constitution, freedom of this and that, and everything, right? And it just seems more like we always had the same Constitution, same, you know, like, same rights. However, it seems to be more like, what's the word? I guess people are trying to exercise it more. Where before it's like, you have it, but like, okay, now it's like, oh, I have this and I'm gonna stand up for it. Like they know they got it, but they're gonna start using it. You know, it's like one of those, like, and I'm all for that. You know, it's no big deal, right? But this is the problem I have, right? It's like when you're comparing, you know, how someone says, oh, you're crying about this, but I served in the military and I watched people die, and you're crying about this. So it's kind of like, it's the same thing. It's kind of like, you know, people cry about, you know, oh, I have the right to do this, and oh, he did this, and I'm like, man, you go to other countries, like, are you kidding me? Like, you know, people take their rights for granted here, and they abuse it, and I'm talking about the criminals, because I'm not even talking about, like, if the cops or the government does like what other countries do, but just like minor, like, what's the word? Like, let's say they allowed to stop you and check you for whatever reason, right? Like, apparently back in the days they used to do that. You know, like, I don't know. I've never been stopped before, so I don't know. But you know, it's like now criminals think that they can't do it anymore, or whatever, or like they thought that they used to be allowed to do it, and now they can't do it anymore. So what happens is now criminals are getting more bold, and they're starting to carry guns. And I watch these videos on, like, online, and like the news channel on surveillance video showing how, like, people just pull out their guns and start shooting. I'm like, damn. But that's the thing. People carry guns on them now because now, you know, the police can't stop you for no reason, or suspicions, or whatever the case is. I don't know. Whatever reasons they have to stop you is not as much as before. So now criminals know this, and they are getting bold to carry, where before they're like, nah, man, what if I get stopped? You know what I mean? So it's like that. So that's one thing. The other thing I want to talk about is how the criminal justice system is weak. And I mentioned this in my vlog before, but I'm gonna try my best to go in detail to one particular subject of the criminal justice. One of the weaknesses is basically, and I mentioned this in my other vlog, so it's not anything different. I just want to tackle it a little bit harder. Is the fact that, you know, in other countries, for example, Finland, from what I was told, again, unless they got the country wrong, if you commit a crime, like, I don't know, let's say you steal something, and it's apparent, like, you know, it's obvious. It's not one of those, like, oh, I'm not sure, or they lying. It's like one of those, like, yeah, it's obvious. Yeah, he definitely did this. Then, for what I was told, it's like death penalty or life. So, I don't know. Like, over here, you hear that, it's like, what, for stealing? That's crazy. But look at their crime rate. Doesn't sound so crazy now, does it? See, here's the thing. and you probably heard the same before. People do what you allow them to do, right? And then it's like a bully. If you're gonna let them bully you, then they're just gonna keep bullying you. But if you stand up for yourself, you might get a little little backlash here and there. You might get in a scuffle, but they're gonna stop fucking with you. Why? Because you're not putting up with that shit no more. It's just gonna be a fight every time you do it. So eventually they're gonna get tired of it. Nah, it's not worth it. Because someone's gonna get in trouble. Opposed to them just like taking your money and you giving them money, lunch money, whatever in school, whatever bullies do. I don't know. Back in the day, they used to say take lunch money. I never saw that, but that's just like one of those old school sayings, right? Yo, he took my lunch money. But anyway, like bullies, flicking the ear. I guess those were like the bullies back in my days, like flicking the ear, like like they'll flick your little ear or they'll push your little nub. I don't know, whatever, like, whatever they used to do. At least that's what I've seen. And a lot of times, some people, they don't stand up for themselves and they keep doing it. Some people do it and they stop doing it. And it's just like the same thing with criminals. Is no different. Like if you tell them, look, alright, if you steal this and we have it on photo and we have evidence, we have witnesses, that's guaranteed death penalty. How many criminals you think, and it's speedy trial over there. They don't play this bullshit where you appeal and all that. It's like, man, nah, that's it. How many criminals you think is gonna think twice and be like, nah, man, I can't do that. It's just crazy, especially like so much surveillance video all around and people cameras and stuff. It's like, it's not worth it. And let's say there is no hard evidence, but they still got straight. Like at the end of the day, it's like you think it sounds harsh. Oh, death penalty for stealing. Or robbery or whatever the degrees of robberies, and they got like felony robberies. I don't know what the laws are, but like whatever they use to determine the high degree of robbery, opposed to like something like that's no value. But if they say death penalty for like a robbery, stick-ups and stuff, like that sounds harsh, but when you look at it in other countries, and it's like, look at the crime rate. How much does it happen? It's like 0 to none. And it doesn't sound so crazy. It's like, oh wow. It's just like sometimes things got to brought into light, but no one talks about that. The media doesn't talk about, United States crime rate is this, and then Finland is this. No, they don't mention that. Why? That's the question you got to ask yourself. Don't mention everything else that's somewhat irrelevant and zero relevance to like what should be talked about. But yet they don't talk about some simple things like that. Sometimes I'm disappointed in the media. I mean, I don't know if it's because like back then when I used to watch it, they should just be like investigative reporting and stuff like that, and tips and tricks and stuff like that. Now it's the same thing over and over again. They talk about the president, they talk about cops, they talk about the government, they talk about protests, this, protest that, and Trump, President Trump. Did I say Trump? You see, like that's all they talk about. It's like someone once said that Trump is going to be a gold mine for the media before he was president, and it is. I mean, it was a gold mine before he was president. Imagine now, like you see how much they talk. Like everything is a Trump story. Like you go to the news, and I challenge you. Watch this time that I say I challenge you. It'll be like, oh no, there was nothing about Trump. But watch. Go to any like normal news channel, like whatever time frame, 5 o'clock news, the 10 o'clock news, the morning news. There's gonna be Trump in there. There's gonna be something about the president. Something about like, something's gonna be with the president. Like they don't give up. They got it. All right, we're gonna cover this 10 minutes of the president. We're gonna cover this. Like they have to. So what happens is it's so easy because it's about the president. So there's a lot of things to talk about, right? So it takes away the brainstorm of let's talk about this. This is interesting. Like radio stations, for example. Sometimes you think, damn, every day they do a morning show, and what do they have to talk about? Because it's a radio station, so they only talk briefly about what's going on in the world, right? And they'll probably mention the same thing, the president or whatever. Then they'll talk about entertainment news with like celebrities and stuff. They'll talk about the music. Then they got the jokes. Then they got the calling pranks and stuff. And it's just like, it's like you think though, they have a pretty much segment of talking, and they have to come up with things to talk about. So you would think that's hard. I mean, I think that's hard. I don't know, maybe for them it's easy, but I would think that's a hard thing to do. Like, what we gonna talk about tomorrow that we didn't mention before? You know, like, you got to come up with something new, something different. So if not, then you're gonna become boring. It's like, oh, you guys keep talking about this. This is like the media. The media keeps talking about the same thing over and over again, and they're not, you know, challenging themselves to come up with something that's interesting for us to know, or something that's important, you know, like the investigative reporting. I've learned a lot from like a lot of the investigative reporting when they talk about like, oh, contractors, you know, they'll charge you high prices for this. You gotta be buyers beware. You gotta make sure you do this. You gotta make sure they're licensed. And, you know, informative stuff like that. Because I've learned so much. So like when I go hire a contractor, I gotta make sure they licensed. I gotta make sure they do this. I gotta make sure I don't give them too much of a payment up front. People don't know this. Why? Because they don't talk about it. So when the media talks about stuff that is informative, it helps you. You learn. You know, this is important things. Like, you know how they say you go to college and, oh, this is irrelevant to life. Like, there's a lot of things that are going to be relevant to life, and things that are be like, well, we're not going to use this in life. I think being informed about stuff like that, hiring contractors, about real estate or the stock market and apps and stuff, better pricing, what's on sale, you know, like stuff like that. I think that is very important. If they could go into like finance, talk about how student loans are crazy, because students, they don't know. Sometimes parents don't teach them, but sometimes these students, they go into debt off these loans, and it's just like, I don't want to talk too much about it because that's gonna be a whole nother vlog. I have to talk about that, but it's just crazy how like they don't talk about things that are important. They talk about things that are not so important, like things that they talk about before. Like, it just keep repeating over and over and over again. It's like let's say like I'm keep doing right now. So let me get off that topic. But yeah, so basically, crime, I think, was the original. If we was to change our laws and somewhat have a modified version of what Finland has in regards to their crimes and how they deal with it and their justice system, I guarantee you crime will be down. I don't know what percent, because it's hard to say, but initially, you know, it's going to be like, oh shit. But, you know, overall, once that message gets across, crime is going to drop big time. Big time, I'll tell you, big time. So, I mean, I don't know, you know, you take it with a grain of salt, but in my opinion, I don't know if here's the thing, the United States justice system should learn from other countries. Just like with the healthcare, and I did a vlog about that. It's a whole different vlog, so I don't want to get too much into it. But the healthcare, for example, healthcare in Canada and most of Europe has the universal healthcare, which everybody's covered by the government. And I think that works. I mean, I don't know too much about it, but I've seen the couple of documentaries and testimonies and stuff, and people have said that it's better. I mean, they have these little quirks here and there, but it's, you know, overall it's better for everyone because everyone's covered. And then, I mean, I could get into like the fact that health. I kid you not, I'm not making this up. I've seen stories, like documented proof that people posted, that they charge them for healthcare. Like, they'll charge them for something. Like, they'll ask you a simple question: hey, how are you feeling today? Have you ever felt like you want to hurt yourself? And they'll charge you like $50-something for that assessment, or whatever they call it. I forgot the words they use. It was written down. It was like some like behavioral assessment or something like that. It was something. It's like a mental health thing. They just want to make sure that you never had any of these thoughts. And then it's like $50-something for that. Like, just to answer like 2-3 questions. I kid you not. I kid you not. I wish I would have I wish I would have saved that, whatever the article was. I wish I would have screenshot it or something so I could show you guys. Asking 3 simple questions, 2 to 3 simple questions, $50-something. What is that, like 15 seconds? $50, 15 seconds? Oh man. So anyway, that's just half the problem. Like, they'll do like a whole medical screening, or like, you know, you do a regular preventive care checkup, right? And they'll charge you like, I don't know, anywhere from like $500 to $1,000 just for regular checkup. They're not injecting anything in you. They just, you know, they just check your breathing, your ears, your nose, whatever, your mouth, or whatever. Like, open your mouth, or ask you a few questions, you know, how you feel, whatever. Like, and they'll charge you like $500 to $1,000 for all that. I'm not kidding you, man. I'm not kidding you. I've seen the documents. This is in New York too, so I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if it's like that anywhere else. And I'm like, wow. And they charge you the insurance. They're not charging you this. Again, this is a whole different vlog, so I don't want to get too much into it. So basically, to sum it up, they charge the insurance this, so you're not paying out of pocket. But it's same like insurance. You get in an accident. Oh yeah, the body shop, whatever. Oh yeah, we'll charge you this, that. We'll charge you some insurance, so it doesn't matter. We'll say it's this price, is that. Before you know it, that's why our insurance rates are so high, especially here in the city, New York City. So all I'm saying is this: we're not aware of that because the media doesn't talk about that. They don't talk about how they charge you $100 to inject or whatever, to inject an IV. You know, where that or like IV bag could cost like $5, but they'll charge you like $100 for the bag. And they don't talk about this. So this is why health insurance is high. This is why car insurance is high, and we just keep paying because the insurance is paying it. But then our premiums, we pay monthly. Our premiums, our co-payments, all that is a factor to the overall cost. So all I'm saying is this: the media needs to report on you know, again, I'm gonna do topics on each one because I don't want this one, you know, it'll be too broad for this one topic. All I'm saying is that, you know, again, I already got off the topic because I was going to summarize something else. See that? Anyway, the criminal justice system needs to be a little strict to at least reduce crime and whatever. Anyway, I don't know if I'll upload this vlog because it kind of went too long. I should have just went into each segment instead of saying I'm gonna briefly talk about it, because you see how brief this was, right? Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see if I upload this, then you made it this far. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. But other than that, thanks for watching. Take care. Leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think. Thanks for watching.